You have seen and heard from one of America's lights, of the many, many lights right now, Senator Rick Bennett from the great state of Maine. I don't need to tell you too much because you've heard a lot about him. He is a Republican member of the Senate in Maine. He represents a relatively rural area of western Maine. He came back to the Senate after going back to what he started with before his business career, a very successful business career, not because he loves politics, maybe he does love politics, but because of the need of his constituents in the country at this time. And he walks the walk of cross-partisanship, but here's the interesting thing, he always has. He was the Senate president in Maine, unanimously elected by his colleagues, Democrats and Republicans, and in Maine they have some independents, to be Senate president in a negotiated, constructive sharing of power, which and it was the kind of thing that he does. He just gets things done by working with people who can help get things done. So you heard about the Protect Maine Elections campaign, just an amazing effort. Senator Bennett, is Senator Grahowski still here too? There's Nicole, Senator Bennett working closely with Democratic Senator Nicole Grahowski. And the Protect Maine Elections campaign got an award, but this one's for Rick because not because Nicole doesn't deserve one too, but there's something else we're trying to do. We're trying to lift up some of the really hard stuff, and right now it's kind of hard to be a Republican senator working with Democrats. It's kind of hard to be a Democratic senator working with Republicans, and we're going to hear from one of those, Congressman Phillips, who's one of the most bipartisan members of Congress. And that's what Rick Bennett's doing, too. That's hard these days, and it's important, as Andrew said, that we kind of, this isn't as good an incentive as some of the bad incentives that prevent that kind of work from being more common. But I do think it's important that we as citizens in this country, and certainly we at American Promise, recognize and reward the hard stuff that we say we want, including that kind of cross-partisan leadership. Rick is a great friend of American Promise and our cause. In getting to work on the campaign in Maine together with him, I am glad to call him a great friend of mine. He's a really fast runner. He was out there at 7 a.m., and we were holding him back a little bit, I could tell. He loves the long haul. He's not intimidated by it. He's run 13 marathons and 2 ultra marathons, and a constitutional amendment is nothing compared to that. Come on up here, Rick Bennett.
Thank you, Deborah. Jeff, thank you so much. I have to say I'm really deeply humbled by this recognition, and I take it, the one thing that we have to remember, and those of us involved in politics usually have to pick a side, not always, Andrew, but and the thing is that we just have to remember is that being a Republican for me is part of who I am. It's not all of who I am as a public servant. And that needs to be remembered. And unfortunately, we've kind of gone the other direction where we get defined by this little letter after our name. I don't care what that letter says. If somebody wants to work on an issue that's going to benefit the people I was elected and honored to serve, I will work with that person. I will work with diligence and energy and humility with anybody that wants to fix what's broken in this country, and there is so much that's broken in this country. It needs every one of our efforts. I am so grateful to work with American Promise, with Jeff and his team. I'm so grateful for this inspirational day today that I'm going to take back to Maine, and it's going to enliven me and energize me for the long path ahead. We're going to get this done. We're going to put Maine on the map for the 28th Amendment. We're taking that to Angus King and Susan Collins tomorrow in the United States Senate, and we're going to get this done. And I just want to say thank you so much. This means a lot to me, and it's a testimony to everything we are doing together. Thank you.